I mean, it's pretty intense. Luckily, we met the Make-A-Wish kids first, which just feels really lovely. But then all of this is quite full on. So it's like you go like, "Brr!" and sort of charge through it. So I'm excited for when like we're backstage, all of us, as it was when we were filming. And then, releasing the film into the world. I cried earlier, like ugly, like for like half an hour. And my friend said, I'm surprised it didn't happen before. Because it's also that strange thing of for 3.5 weeks, people have been going, how does it feel to end? So like those words go around in your head and you're like, oh, an end? Oh my gosh, an end. Like, what does it mean? It feels emotional. I'm excited for people to watch it, but it feels strange. I thought that it's almost done. I don't know. I mean, I think like they may be lucked out each time because aside from everything else that people talk about all the time, we all really love each other. And I do think that like that translates onto screen. So for us, it was really important, me, John and Oscar, that we were together on this journey. And I just feel like you feel that. So like you want to be part of the gang. And I think with Star Wars, you always have. Like whatever side it is, you sort of want to be part of it. And the way they're written, you really feel part of it as an audience member.
Yeah, I think it's not all one thing. I think what makes it have, or what's made it have legs all these years is the characters. It's surrounded by this huge epic scale, and the design of it is very beautiful. But at the meat of the story, it's about a lot of very universal themes. It's Luke Skywalker who feels he's in a small town and is destined to do something greater, and needs to get out and do it. It's about acquired family, found family, and then the family that you can't escape, and everyone's relationship to that of the destiny that you feel that you can't escape, and fate that you really want to change. These huge epic themes, I think is what made it timely.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think this is the first time we're seeing the movie with a real audience, with real people. Not to say that my castmates are not real. People of the general public. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to everyone. Oh, Harrison's here. I'm looking forward to everyone seeing it, and I'm looking forward to everyone having a good time. I know. I wasn't involved in obviously the earlier movies, but to just be a part of the jigsaw puzzle of such a legacy is absolutely insane to me. At the beginning of this, we could have never imagined shooting 3 movies over the course of these years, and to be here right now, it's kind of weird. It's actually mad. But I feel good.
It is exciting. It's also completely nerve-wracking. We're finally showing this movie, which is the end of all this craziness for the last 6 years of our lives. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very excited. Well, it just feels like we just climbed to the top of the mountain. So there's a lot of relief. It feels like we finally made it. And I'm sure, in the nenext few days, I'll start feeling a little melancholic over the whole thing. But I'm so excited that we're finally sharing the movie with everyone. I don't know. It really is a cultural phenomenon, and I think it somehow really inspired people's imaginations. The fact that George Lucas started in the middle of a story, just even that small thing that you were starting on episode 4 and you were thinking, well, what was episode 1, 2, and 3, and where else is it going? It just somehow really inspired people's imaginations, so people feel ownership over the story in a beautiful way. So I think that's something that's great, and I hope that this movie also leaves people with that feeling as well.
It's really fun to finally be here. It's kind of surreal, and I can't wait for people to see the movie. Well, obviously it was a tall order to wrap it all up, but I was working with Terrio, an amazing writer, and an incredible cast, including people like Billy D. Williams, who is a legend, and so it was really a fun challenge.
Oh, it's great. I never thought I would be a part of all of this. I know that the fans for years, they've been clamoring for Lando to come back. But when I got the call from JJ, I was really quite excited about that. I'm crazy about him. So the whole idea of working with him and having a wonderful creative exchange was something that I found myself thoroughly looking forward to. First of all, Star Wars is it's a great adventure, but at the same time, it touches on the whole question of good and evil, the whole question of dark and light. outside of ourselves, but also the battle that we have within ourselves.
I mean, just like everyone knows, everyone has such a visceral reaction when you hear that music. And I just feel like we all watched it last week, and the thing is that there's so few films that everyone watches together. It's not just for kids, it's not just for adults, and it's one of those movies, and it's kind of like the biggest possible one. And I really felt that watching it. I mean, I feel like Star Wars is one of those iconic, if not our most iconic film, that does it. It's such a myth, and it has humor, but it has this incredible hope and yearning in it, and I think that's why everyone is so drawn to it.
Well, it's amazing to come to one of the biggest parties in the galaxy, and a stunning setting, and a sense of excitement, and everybody wants to know how this story ends. I know because I've seen the movie. Sorry, one-upmanship. People say, am I sad? No, I'm not. The story is coming to an end, and it should come to an end. We should go, oh, that was good. We can always go back to the beginning and watch it again. I was a little sad on the last day on the set. Of course I was. I was leaving a gorgeous crew, a gorgeous cast, a gorgeous director, a gorgeous writer, and gorgeous 3PO. He's been a great companion all these years. One of the cleverest things George Lucas did was to make this kind of sandbox thing that people adopted, and now we have 3 generations who play within the sandbox, make up stories, create costumes, share their joy of the dark side or the light side, whatever. There is something and someone in those Star Wars movies for everyone.
I mean, it's as a young kid, you know, I had been told that there might be sequels to the original Star Wars films, and I was excited then. Little did I know that I was going to play a small part in those sequels, and I couldn't be happier. But also, I mean, it's just very bittersweet. It's just very bittersweet to see this saga come to such a beautiful conclusion. It's absolutely true, and it was evident when J.J. Abrams was announced to come back, and after he and Chris Terrio wrote that beautiful script, and when we were filming, we knew that this was going to be just what we need, and also just with Star Wars, how you end a Star Wars triple trilogy saga like you do. So it's just what I've imagined this new movie to be. After seeing the film, my first thought was, when do I get to see it again? And to see it again with such a big group of people, to share with the world, is of the utmost joy that I could ever imagine.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to hear all of these people screaming. It's crazy. It doesn't feel like the end, but it is, and I'm feeling a lot of emotions. It's crazy. I think it's really incredible that we get to be part of a story that resonates with a lot of people. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see when people laugh and when they cry. I know both will happen. So yeah, I'm really excited.
It's been a lot to get here, and like every day getting closer, I was getting more excited and more scared and more of everything. So now to be here, it's just about staying in the moment and enjoying it for everything that it is, and just savoring these last moments of this Star Wars experience. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that once you're in it, you never leave it. So it's good to know that I've got this first amazing community of people who, you know, in front of the camera and behind the camera really built up a good relationship, and I feel very secure knowing that my future has started with this. I know, it's crazy. No, because I think there's characters for everyone over time. It's just like grown and grown and grown in terms of the diversity of the cast and different stories and different canon, and people can add on what they like, and it's just like become such a universe, a galaxy in itself, and you know, it's something that's never really going to go away. And so I think people feel invested and secure in the Star Wars family.
I saw the first movie in 1977 when I was a 20-year-old drama student, and if you told me then that 42 years later I'd be in the final Star Wars movie, I would have thought that you were certifiably nuts. It is the dream come true for a lifelong, three-quarter lifelong Star Wars fan. So, and I got to know Carrie Fisher really well because when I met her during making the LA Story here with Steve Martin in 1990. So to be in her final movie as well. It's a very sweet and poignant moment as well. So I'm thrilled to be here, and this whole setup is just astonishing. Yeah, first and last time it'll ever happen to me. I know many people have written great theses on it and everything, but what George Lucas said way back 40 years ago is that yes, it may be set in space, but essentially is about families, friendship and loyalty. So those are universal things, and just the sort of cliffhanger edge nature of how the story progresses every time is, it's like Saturday morning serial movies that I saw when I was a kid, that of course people don't know even of the existence of that anymore, but every episode ends on a cliffhanger. You think, what's going to happen next? So that's, it's absolutely fulfills the DNA spirit of that.
It's the greatest. The Force Awakens was a blur, honestly, when we did this, and I had my family with me, and we did this, and we were just talking about it in the car. We're like, we couldn't even remember anything. We're really taking this in, enjoying this, not just because it's the end of 3 trilogies, and I think going to be one of the best Star Wars movies ever, but just being a part of this. And I have a little bit more to do in this one. Snap Wexley's back, so it's exciting. And JJ's my best friend, so I'm really excited for him. I think it's the genius of George Lucas back in the day, creating characters that you care about, relationships that you care about. You can make it look like this. It can be incredible. The visuals can be everything. But if you don't want to take a ride with those characters, you're not going to want to. So I think it really starts with that and the family aspect of it all. And it's one of the first movies that I ever left as a kid and continued to talk about the characters. And we're all still doing it today.
It's kind of like our new mythology. We're always telling the same stories, I think. The battle of good against evil. One man can't be enough, or one woman can't be enough on their own, so they surround themselves with other aspects of their character that helps them out to achieve their mission. Star Wars is the same. Rey wants to achieve something, but she needs Finn and Poe and BB-8 around her to do those things. And we respond to those stories because these are the stories that we used to tell hundreds, if not tens of thousands of years ago.
I have to say we couldn't be more excited because this is the first audience. No one's seen it. We've not watched anybody watching it, which is what's fun for us that, we've worked so hard and so long. So can't wait.
What's great is we haven't seen it for a few weeks, so we're even fresh to it. Yeah. But no, it's been an incredibly long and amazing road here. So this is a very special moment. We kind of hoped we'd get to, and then now here we are. It's kind of unbelievable.
Well, it's, there's a combination of emotions, because what George created is so phenomenal. And to reach a point where we're now with episode 9 and realizing that the Skywalker saga is drawing to a close, it's exciting, it's sad, it's all of those emotions.
Incredibly bittersweet, and mainly because we're just going to miss working with everyone as well. That's another thing. So we're reuniting with a lot of friends and crew and cast tonight, and it's sad to say goodbye, but we're very proud of what they've done.
No, the thing that we say all the time is the music will live beyond anything we do, and his contribution is just, you can't even find the words to understand what he's really brought to all of this. And it was quite amazing when we were on the scoring stage and he was recording some of the last music he'll do for Star Wars. And, it was quite emotional, really emotional.
In fact, one of my favorite cues I think John has written for the saga is in this movie, and it's called The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. And we were incredibly emotional the first time the orchestra played it, and it was that moment of chills and kind of disbelief that we were, bearing witness to this. So there is no Star Wars without John Williams.
Well, this is really the first time, because it's been such a small group that's been working on it, that it's like some birth, it's like being present for the birth of our child. So JJ's so excited, I'm so excited, Kathy and Michelle are so excited, and the cast, we can't wait for everyone to see what the cast has done, because we have everyone from our brand new characters like Naomi, Ackie, Jana, to Lando, who's been in this since Empire, and of course Anthony Daniels, who's been in the Star Wars family for 42 years. So we couldn't be more excited. Well, Star Wars is first and foremost, it's an adventure. When George created Star Wars, even as early as the 70s, he was talking about capturing some of the spirit of the adventure serials that he grew up with. So JJ and I have tried really hard to capture the fun of old westerns and old Flash Gordon serials, and a mix of genres like the original was, and hopefully to give a really exhilarating ride. I think the magic of Star Wars is that it's about the eternal fight between the light and the dark, but it's Star Wars is optimistic, and it says that even in the darkest times, the light is there and the light can prevail. And I think that's something that we need to remember. Certainly JJ and I would go back to that idea in our hearts and minds whenever we needed some inspiration. But if you look at the original movies, yeah, they're full of darkness and action and terror and all that, but they're also full of hope and optimism, and hopefully we have captured some of that.
Well, it's incredible. First of all, it's a big responsibility. First of all, when we bought Lucasfilm and becoming kind of the keeper of the Star Wars flame, so to speak, we took it quite seriously, and we're indebted to George for entrusting us with it. This is pretty interesting tonight because it's the conclusion of the 3 films, Skywalker sagas, that we made, and actually the conclusion of the 9. And I think we've got a great film here that will be very satisfying and quite emotional. But in a way, it's a little bittersweet, too, because we say goodbye in many respects, to places and characters. Not that it is in any way the end of Star Wars stories, but it's the end of what has been just a great set of stories or chapters. I've said often that George Lucas created perhaps the best mythology of our time, of the modern time. And the reason that I say that is because the stories and the characters that he told were so compelling, the places so intriguing, and a seemingly endless array of places and characters and stories that we'll see and meet and hear over the years. I think there's something very special about that. And endures also because I think it touches on so many important things, so many important values.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker.
If I may, please stand in welcoming a legend, Mr. John Williams. The one, the only Oscar Isaac, Mr. John Boyega, Mr. Adam Driver, Miss Daisy Ridley. And please give it up for Luke Skywalker himself, Mr. Mark Hamill. And look, the droids.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker!
Daisy, that gorgeous smile right there, hold that beautiful. Daisy, that pretty smile right up there. Beautiful. As you walk, Daisy. And Daisy. Carla, there you go. Fan it out, Carla. Look up here, right there. Straight ahead. And Mr. Boyega. How about that smile, John? Straight ahead. If you're showing. Straight ahead, man. Straight in front. Straight ahead. Thank you. Ah, beautiful. Those smiles.
And together, just to your left.
And those smiles. Thank you. That smile right there. Looking this way, all the way up again. One more, that pretty smile right up here. Looking back at the beginning. And right up. All right. And right here. And right down here. And together guys, right here. And then just straight out. Good, how are you? And together. And Mark straight ahead. Mark! Keri! Straight ahead, Keri, straight ahead. Keri, straight ahead. That smile right there, just turn yourself there, big smile. You can turn your shoulders towards us a bit. Right here, straight ahead, right here. One leg this way, sir. Mr. Williams right here, sir. Mr. Williams, back to your left, sir. And right here a little bit more. And Dominic right here, straight ahead. And straight ahead, Dominic. Straight ahead. There you go. There it is. Thanks, man. Little smile, straight ahead. You can start first, let's smile. Chris, right here. Hey, Chris. Stay way up top right there. Harrison right here. Harrison. John right there, sir. John, straight ahead, sir. And Pedro right here, please. Kyle. And Daisy, Miss Ridley. Smile, man. Make that beautiful. Chewy, one time right here, sir. Chewy. Keri, let me get a pic of Chewy. Chewy. Fire, look this way. Bobby, that smile, look up. Guys, out on the right side to get guys, right here, straight ahead. Right here. Josh, one more time up. And that beautiful smile right there, man. Hold that 1 sec for me. And one more full smile, boys. Very good. We see the hands together. And together,